On-Europe editor Phil Colclough, Eurovision broadcaster Lisa Jane Lewis. All Out Eurovision.
Okay, I feel the rhythm. Something's going on here. The music flows through my veins. It's taking over me, it's slowly kicking in. My eyes are blinking and I don't know what is happening. I can't control it, don't wanna end it. There's no one here and I don't care. I feel it's safe to dance alone. Dance alone, 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 dance alone. Let's disco deck right at my home. It is okay to dance alone. Dance alone, dance alone, dance alone, dance alone. I got the moves, it's gonna blow. Dance alone, dance alone, dance alone, dance alone. By dancing on my own, I'm healing wounded soul. My body's shaking, heart is breaking, have to let it go. I need to get up and put my hands up. There's no one here and I don't care. I feel it's safe to dance alone. Let's disco deck right at my home. It is okay to dance alone. Dance alone, dance alone, dance alone, dance alone. I got the moves, it's gonna blow. Dance alone, dance alone, dance alone, dance alone. Let's disco deck right at my home. It is okay to dance alone. I got the moves, it's gonna blow. It is okay to dance alone. Let's disco deck right at my home. It is okay to dance alone. I got the moves, it's gonna blow. It is okay to dance alone.
Hi everyone, Lisa Jane here with Rehearsal Rundown. We're going to be chatting through the first half of semi-final one now that we've seen their rehearsals, and I am joined by friend of the show. You all know him. It's Phil Colclough from Colclough. I can't even say your name, Phil. Goodness.
Go, you're doing well here.
It's late. I can't do it.
This is going swimmingly well. Shall we start again? No, let's.
Phil, no. We'll roll with it. How are you doing, Phil?
I'm doing really, really well. I wish I was in Rotterdam, but being virtually there is almost as good. There's cups of tea on tap and chocolate and all sorts of things. It's great being at home.
There's the weird thing about being able to sort of go to your own kitchen and make a cup of tea when you want, and it's your tea. It's not some weird tea that they've got in the press centre. It's
very odd not going to a press centre and actually having to press buttons and get coffee for about 15 people, and then coming back to your own desk where nobody's moved anything. And it's like, I'm set up here. Stop touching my desk.
That's so true. But let's just, before we get into the rehearsals, this is our first experience of the online press centre platform. Have you been impressed? What do you think?
I've been impressed by the speed that they reply to moaning people, i.e. fan media, not me and you. Okay. There was a problem this morning with Lithuania and they went away and fixed it. They got told by the EBU to put a bigger watermark on the pictures. They went away and fixed it. That's all you can ask for. That's literally all you can ask for.
Yeah, it seems to be quite, as far as I'm concerned, it seems to be quite user-friendly. There's lots of chat function. You can watch rehearsals. You can watch the press conferences. You can put questions in. So from a sort of user point of view, it seems really good platform. I think they've done it really well.
if they're going to slim down the actual press centre and remember that online media need to cover this as well, but in a different way, perhaps this is the way to go.
Yeah,
you can issue as many licenses as you like.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we'll see a virtual press centre become an actual thing now going forward.
No problem with that if it runs like today.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I thought it was great. Right, let's get into the rehearsals then, shall we? And first off, cracking open the semi-final that we've been, 2 years without the show, and it's Lithuania kicking off the party. I think this is the only song that could have been the opener for the show. And I thought the rehearsal was brilliant. But what do you think, first of all? Absolutely.
I think that they're going to be visually arresting in yellow, and they're going to wear their fisherman's max, and it's going to force 10 from southwesters coming in. But they know what they're doing. That's the point. They've geared up not once but twice for this. There's an argument that On Fire would have opened the semi-final they were going to be in last time. Mm-hmm. So, they're perfect fit for it. I just think it lost a little something, but I can't put my finger on what.
Do you know what? I think I know what the what is.
Oh, go on, then.
I think the what is audience. I think that's the one thing that's missing from this. And I think when we start to see it with even just for the jury show and things like that, when you've got some resemblance of an audience, even the other delegations and people sat in the hall, I think that's the missing link on this. But I think everything that they've done on the stage, it's not hugely dissimilar to what we saw in Lithuania. It's, just been upgraded a little bit. I like the fancy new bits with the camera, but it's not wildly different to what we were expecting.
No, exactly. I was just going to say they've not gone away and radically rethought this like some others we're going to mention.
Well, yes,
but it is what it is. Your man's a good performer. He plays up to the camera, and it looks natural. It doesn't look forced.
Yeah. I can't wait to see this when there's even just half an audience in there, because I think that's what it needs to just take it up to the top. But based on what you've seen today, do you think it's qualifying or not?
I think there would have to be a seismic shift across Europe to stupidity if this isn't going to qualify. This is going straight through.
I 100% agree, and I've made no secret. This is one of my top. I've got 3 in my top 1, and this is one of them.
I'm not much for it, but I can see all its benefits.
Fabulous.
Representing Slovenia.
Hey child, why you hiding from the light? Why you cowering in fright? Don't tell yourself the heavens cast you out, and you're falling from grace. You'll get beaten and bruised, you'll be scarred into your core, but it's gonna make you who you are. When you learn to heal, when you learn to rise again, you can tell the sun amen. Hallelujah, we're glorious. Hallelujah, the day is dawning, the storm's relentless, but everybody knows we're born to the fight. Hey child, the fear will never go away. Might as well accept it now. Learn to persevere. Oh, learn to count your blessings down. Create a future with amen. Hallelujah, we're glorious. Hallelujah, the day is dawning, the storm's relentless, but everybody knows we're born until there ain't a stop. Not until the thunder's hushed away at rest. Are we at peace? Just imagine it. Not until the storm is past. Not until it's quiet. Can a heart is broken cry? Why you hiding from the light?
Right, let's move on and let's talk about Anna Soplic from Slovenia.
Must we?
Amen. Yes, we must.
Must we?
Yes, we must. Right. Come on, Slovenia. Song number 2. She is on stage in her white jumpsuit with the big long one wing cape thing. I don't know what we're calling that. Shoulder cape, I think. So should we have your dad's thoughts? Because he seemed to be more positive than you are.
Just to fill everybody in, my dad came into the room that I'm in, i.e. the On Europe Press Centre, poked his head around the door and said, "That's winning, that is," and walked away. Now, my dad is not a barometer by any stretch of the imagination of European people, because I swiftly corrected him and said, no. It's not even qualifying. And then the reason it's not even qualifying is it's just so goddamn boring. All I could see for 3 minutes was her massive forehead on screen. She's nothing but forehead, that girl.
Oh, bless her. She can't do much about that.
And then, well, if she could put her hair down, that'd be a start. But, she got a gospel choir that should have kicked in and leveled it up. Nothing to be seen. No gospel things on the stage. In fact, nobody on the stage but her. Nothing in the background that suggested it. It was all literally beige, I think the phrase is here.
I did feel, I'm with you on that. I did feel like she looked very small on that stage. But we've had other solo performers today that we'll get on to talk about who didn't look small on the stage, yet they are the same size. And she's a tall woman. But I do feel like the stage kind of swamped her.
Yeah, definitely.
But she did use the catwalk part of the stage. And I think, was she the only one today that used that? I think so.
Yes, off the top of my head, I think so. Yeah,
Ireland used it as well, didn't they?
I couldn't tell, as you'll notice later.
Anna was definitely, predominantly did the sort of independent woman boss stride out onto the catwalk.
Is that what we're calling it? Is that what we're calling it now?
Yeah, that's what we're calling it. Tripping over her little cape at one point. I said that cape, she either needs 3 centimetres off the hem or a little bit of wind just to push that fabric back so that she can walk down that step easier.
Dear RTV SLO, either buy her a wind machine or some sprouts.
Yeah, I mean, the wind machine is there. They just need to turn it on. And I'm not talking full hurricane. It just needs a little bit of wind at her feet so that her feet are clear of the fabric.
Well, didn't she take her shoes off? I seem to remember seeing that she took her shoes off halfway through the performance.
I think that's because she sort of slightly fell out of them as she got caught up on that massive piece of fabric that's hanging down from her left shoulder. Yeah.
There's no answer to that.
I think it was unintentional shoe removal.
Oops. Good job nobody was watching that then.
We'll see when they come to the second rehearsals. Okay, well, I asked you based Lithuania based on today. Is this qualifying?
Slovenia, no.
No. Okay. I think I agree with you. There's a part of me that thinks it is slightly different enough from a lot of the bops that we're going to be assaulted with going forward, but I don't think it's got enough within it to. There are other things that are different.
Either side of it
are better.
Either side of it.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Representing Russia.
Поле, 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 я ж мала. Поле, 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 так мало. Как пройти по полю из огня? Как пройти по полю, если ты одна? Ждать где-то ручки. Кто подаст мне ручку, девочки? Испокон веков часов, с ночи до утра, с ночи ждем мы корабля, очень-очень с ночи до утра, ждем мы корабля. А чё ждать? Встала и пошла. Every Russian woman needs to know you're strong enough, you're gonna break the wall. Every Russian woman needs to know you're strong enough, you're gonna break the wall. Что там хорохорится? Ой, красавица, ждешь своего юнца. Ой, красавица, тебе уж за 30. Алло, где же дети? Ты в целом красива, но вот похудеть бы. Надень подлиннее, надень покороче. Росла без отца, делай то, что не хочешь. Ты точно не хочешь, а надо. Послушайте, правда, мы с вами не стадо. Вороны, пиш-пиш, прошу, отвалите. Теперь зарубите себе на носу. Я вас не виню, а себя я чертовски люблю. Борются, все по кругу борются, на дне молятся. Сын без отца, дочь без отца, но сломанной фэмили не сломать меня. You're gonna break the world. Every Russian woman needs to know you're strong enough, you're gonna break the wall. Every Russian woman needs to know you're strong enough, you're gonna break the wall. Hey, Russian woman, don't be afraid, girl. You're strong enough, you're strong enough. Don't be afraid, 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 don't be afraid. Борются, все по кругу борются, да не молятся. Сын без отца, дочь без отца, но сломанной фэмили не сломать меня.
Well, then let's come on and talk about Russia, who are next up that we saw today. Russia surprised us with a national final that we weren't expecting and that we got, just a couple of days notice of. And there we all were on a Monday evening on International Women's Day watching a song win a Russian national final called Russian Woman. And it's all about female empowerment and, what a boss walking, isn't it? That's what I'm calling it now.
Not a cynical attempt at all for International Women's Day. Oh, dear me, no.
No, not at all. Right, so we have seen them take this from what we saw at the national final. Again, it's not wildly different, but it's certainly been turbocharged a bit, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, they've obviously contacted the BBC and gone, excuse me, you're not filming Doctor Who at the moment. Can we borrow your Davros costume, please? And the BBC have said, for a fee, obviously, they've then taken it back, dressed it in,
Backed it up.
Yeah, they've camped up Doctor Who as if that's a thing. They
It's a drag Dalek. I never thought of that. It's so true.
See, it's Davros, isn't it?
Is.
They've got this pokey little woman sticking out the top, and she's, for the first 30 seconds, she is literally like a remote control Tyco car, or the brands are available, go backwards and forwards across the stage while she's trying to sing in this contraption.
Which I think is actually the point. I think the point of the whole thing is to say, our history and our culture has tried to contain us in this one look, but we're breaking out and we're modern women, and fingers up to you, basically, I think is what it is.
I've got two hearts and I'm going to show them to Gallifrey. Yes, that's right.
Okay, enough with the Doctor Who reference.
That's it. That's my knowledge of Doctor Who right there in those 2 minutes. It is good. It is a cynical attempt to cash in on #MeToo. It's from a broadcaster that knows how to manipulate its own audience as well as Europe's audience.
Very true.
To that end, a red jumpsuited woman is perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. Part of me thinks, Russia, yeah, no. But then part of me goes, actually, if she believes it, why the hell can't I?
Yeah, that's a fair point. It's very Marmite, this one, isn't it? There are people who absolutely love it, and there are people who absolutely hate it. I love it. I loved it when I saw it in the national final. I mean, you know that, you know me, you know this is my kind of thing. But I've been pleasantly surprised with the diversity of people that have jumped on board with this, actually. It's not just been the girls in the press centre. It's got much wider appeal, which I think is really good.
Well, there's only 4 of you. Come on, let's be fair.
Well, that's true. Yeah, me, Sam, Alicia. So what do you reckon? Is it qualifying or is it not qualifying? Yeah?
I thought it was. I thought it wasn't, and that would be funny, but I think it is now.
You're so mean.
Yeah. Have you met me ever?
Yes, I have many times.
That's fine, just checking.
Right, well then let's move on. I agree. I do think this is qualifying. I don't think it's going to be in the top half qualifying, but I could see it in 7th or 8th, I think.
Yeah, I'm finishing about 19th in the final.
Just because this is a brutal semi-final. This is an absolute bloodbath, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
But we like those, don't we?
Oh yes.
Representing Sweden.
There's fire in the rain, but we'll get up again. We're 1,000 miles apart, but we'll overcome. I'll never let you down. Well, they're turning us around, but I feel it in my heart. Let's make a brand new start. Just stop us now, forget the haters. Get up and live and make it matter. There's more to life, so go ahead and sing it out. Can you hear a million voices calling out in the rain? You know we've got a million choices, so go get out and let it rain. A million voices, voices, a million voices, voices, a million voices, voices, a million voices. There's fire in the rain, and I can feel your pain, painting all the scars and the colors of change. Don't let them hold you down, don't let them hold you down. You're shooting like a star, the star you are. Hey, can't stop us now, forget the haters. Get up and live and make it matter. There's more to life, so go ahead and sing it out. Can you hear a million voices calling out in the rain? You know we've got a million choices, so go get out and let it rain. Can you hear them? A million voices. 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 Can you hear them? Can you hear a million voices calling out in the rain? You know we've got a million choices, so go get out and let it rain. Can you hear them? A million voices. Can you hear them? A million voices. Can you hear them? Can you hear them? A million voices.
All right, let's move on and talk about Sweden. Tuesday with Million Voices. Well, now I'll share my thoughts about this one, and you can tell me whether I'm completely bonkers or not. You'll probably tell me I am. So I didn't rate this one much. It didn't have it anywhere on my top anything. I thought it was okay, a beige kind of song. And yet I've seen it today and I've gone, oh, that's much better than I remember it being at Melody Festival. And that was only a few weeks ago. Have I lost the plot, or am I seeing something more than I used to?
He's very engaging. He's very young. He's got a very good voice. Well, he's only 19, I think. He's got a very good voice. He knows how to perform, and let's face it, the stuff that he's got to perform is not exactly great. In fact, I'll go as far as to say the song is substandard.
Yeah, this is one of those cases, isn't it, of the artist doing better than their song.
He is polishing a you-know-what.
Yeah, it's a bit of a Surrey.
He really is getting the pledge out and making sure that it's as bright as it can be.
Yeah, I think you might be right. It's very strange for me, I think, and we watched his meet and greet press conference afterwards as well. I find it very strange, and I mean this, with no disrespect to any Swedes out there, but I find it strange having so much kind of passion and joy and personality from a Swedish artist. That's caught me off guard a little bit.
He's not been Krista Bjorkman to within an inch of his life.
No, he's a bit rough around the edges, and that's what we're not used to having from Sweden. Yeah,
he knows the X Factor format, so he's comfortable with competitive singing. Now I don't know whether it was X Factor or Voice of Sweden, but it was one of the two he did really well in. So he knows how to perform. He knows how to act up. Couple that with the fact that he's going to have a much wider audience than he's had of any of those.
Yeah.
It's his chance, and that's what the contest's all about.
Yeah, it's just a shame that he's got a donkey to try and win the Grand National with.
Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right. It took loads of them to write it, and I don't understand why.
No. Well, I'm going to ask a question. Based on today's rehearsals, as it stands so far, is this qualifying or not qualifying?
Yes, it's qualifying, but near the bottom.
Yeah, I think Sweden might be disappointed with where it qualifies.
But we won't be surprised.
No, I don't think we will. But I think the people who are not quite as in tune with it all as we are might be surprised at how low this is in the qualifying states.
Yeah, I agree.
I do not begrudge Sweden their 7th win. They have worked so hard for it, but I just don't want it to be with this, because I don't think they deserve it with this. They deserve it with something good. This isn't good. No, this is mediocre.
Representing Australia.
I wanna be close to my mother. I wanna belong to the world. A mirror that shows technicolor. I'd be a magnificent girl. That I can move myself towards. And yet I promise you, yes, all you nasty dudes, I don't need certainty to get my pot of gold, no. Everything is frustrating. Everything moves all on faster than I can relate to. But we got grace, yeah. We got style and lasers, yeah. Time to take off your clothes. Technicolor. If we stand together, we can do whatever. Technicolor.
let's move on to Australia. I mean, this won't take long because Australia are not in Rotterdam. Just to explain to our listeners, every country has done a live to tape, so sort of under live conditions, and they can be used at any time if somebody tests positive while they're in Rotterdam and they can't then go on stage. Every country has this backup tape that can be used, and Australia announced a little while ago that they actually wouldn't even be coming to Rotterdam. It would all be done live on tape. So we haven't really seen a rehearsal as such, but we did see a few little clips. Have you seen the video, Phil?
I haven't seen the video. No, I gave up. I went into the live lounge, nice, and tried to view the 30 minutes that we were promised, and got nothing. So I've not seen this. I understand from sources who are not on this particular medium that she's very sparkly.
Yes, that's fair to say. It feels like she's sort of wrapped in a sparkly bin bag, to be honest.
Which is what she should be putting the song in, let's be fair.
Well, there is that. With her hair sprayed in various colours, which I'm all for. You know, I've had my hair every colour under the sun.
Every colour under the sun, yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I'm quite liking the hair colour aspect of it. There's not an awful lot we can talk about, but we can share whether we think it's qualifying or not based on the song, because that's not changed. Thoughts?
I would love to see this fail.
Yeah.
Principally, for three reasons. Firstly, my own personal opinion about Australia in the contest, which I'm not going to go into because no. Secondly, I bet you all can't guess what that is.
Exactly. Don't make me drive up the M6 and come and hit you.
Secondly, I think it's about time they failed, because they haven't failed at all yet.
No.
They haven't had a spectacular failure, and the delegation from SBS believe they're bulletproof.
Yeah.
They believe that they are the golden child, and whatever they put in is going to do well and to the rest of you. And they do that with their own fans and their own press. They don't care enough.
Yeah.
So even when one eye's higher than the other ended up scoring 2 points, nothing happened.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything because he got the jury.
Yeah.
You know, they are due a failure, and it could be this, and they won't understand why. That's the worst thing. They won't get why they did so badly.
No, they don't understand why they didn't do so well with Jessica Malboy. I mean, I know they qualified, but they finished, I can't remember now, 23rd or 4th or something like that. Down the bottom.
Something distant, yeah.
Down the bottom with us and Sarah Alto.
Yeah.
The UK's other entry for that year.
Yeah.
Under a Finnish flag. But they don't understand why that didn't work. And I told them 3 or 4 times why it wasn't going to work, but
she can't sing being one of them.
Well,
she can sing. She just chose not to sing that song.
Well, yes, there is that. But yeah, no, I think I agree with you. And I think it would be really good for Australia to not qualify, to have to go and take a look at themselves in the mirror, as everybody has had to do.
Go sit in the corner and think about what you've not done. Yes.
Go and sit on the naughty step for 3 months, and then come back fighting. And I think we would see a stronger Australia if they had a non-qualifier. And I think this has to be the non-qualifier, because I just can't see who it's for, what the audience is, what the point is. And I find Montaigne, I mean, fine, she's a great artist, but I feel like she's too wrapped up in her own art that she can't see out of that, if that makes sense, and can't understand what it looks like from a audience point of view, which is fine if it's just your fans. But if you're trying to win votes, you need to have that third eye on what you're doing.
I don't think she's had the competitive element.
No, that's true.
I think she's been anointed not once but twice. No. Did she win it? Did she win?
Yeah. She won.
She won a fight. That's right. She won
last year.
Australia Decides last year. She's been anointed this year with arguably a worse song. And if anybody out there's seen the preview video that SBS have made no attempt to cover up the fact that it's a professionally produced picture from Sydney Pride.
Yes.
She misses more notes than she hits.
Yeah, she does. I think I wrote somewhere, and somebody thought that was a good phrase, that Montaigne and the tune are not exactly the best of friends.
Clearly. On that performance, no.
All right, let's leave Australia and move on to North Macedonia. Vasil?
Are you not going to ask me if she qualifies?
I did, didn't I?
Did you? No, you didn't.
Is she qualifying?
No, she's not.
No, I agree, and I hope that is the case. There's just a little bit of me, though, that thinks the juries will just scrape them through in 10th place. And if that happens, it will be at the expense of something that should have qualified.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Representing Macedonia.
There are times when I remember back, wish to hug the child about to crack. I'll tell him, wait, it won't be long. Trust your heart and just stay strong. 'Cause baby, they all tried to break us, not knowing it's what makes us. This is how we found our way. Now here I stand, there's no pretend. Walls are down, my heart's in your hand. Unchain my wings, and the oceans of tears will fade to black with the sum of my to break us, not knowing it's what makes us. This is how we found our way. This is how we found our way. Here I stand. My walls are down, my heart's in your hand. They all try to break us, knowing it's what makes us. This is how we found our way. There are times when I remember back, and all I do is all for you.
Right, okay, let's move on then. North Macedonia, our friend, Vasil. Thoughts, Phil?
He's your friend, first of all. He's nothing to do with me.
He is my friend. I'm sorry. It's okay, I can take it. Go ahead.
He needs to stop being too gay. And I really shouldn't be saying that, bearing in mind what's happened.
Yeah.
But just to fill everybody in, he got the ticket not once but twice. However, this time around, his chums in Macedonia said he's got a Bulgarian passport. He can't sing for us, he's the spawn of Satan, and he's a homosexualist, and etc. and etc. No issue with him being here. No issue with him sticking the two fingers up. What I have an issue with is the fact that he's singing a song from Annie on stage with a glitter ball on his chest, or some bit of tiles from Wix, who knows? And he's playing it like he's the big I am on stage. There's nobody else with him. It's just him, me, look at me, I'm the gay, look at me. It needs to be toned down. It won't be, but it needs to be toned down. He just needs to sing the song. The song's strong enough. He doesn't need all of the paraphernalia that go with it.
Yeah, I do think he would have benefited from some backing vocalists, even if they were just in half light in the back.
Yep.
I don't think it needed a lot. I'm not talking about the Mamas level of backing vocals here.
Jesus Christ, no.
But I think, you know how like Austria have done really well with backing vocals in that they've sort of had them on stage, but it's been quite subtle.
Yes.
I really think that North Macedonia could have benefited from that. I really like the song, but then I like the musical theatre kind of thing. And I can completely understand why they've gone down this route. Firstly, it did very, very well for them, this style of music in 2019.
Yes, it did.
So I can absolutely see why they would want to stick to something that worked. And I feel like this is naturally Vasil. Like, he is a musical theatre person. Like, that is his thing. So I do feel like this is very authentic to him, more so than his song was last year. I felt like that didn't fit with him, whereas this really does. He is over the top, theatrical, operatic. You know, that kind of is him. But I don't think it's perfect. Though I'm friends with him, you know, as I have been with others, I can still be very objective about their performance, you know, and he's said himself in the press conferences and interviews he's done, you know, he was pleased with it, but there's work to do. And there is, I think he's right.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah.
I can't call this one as to whether it's qualifying or not. I'm trying not to get my hopes. I would like it to qualify, but I'm trying not to get my hopes up that it will, because I'm not sure that it's quite as appealing as the musical theatre number from North Macedonia 2 years ago.
I think he's struggling. And I think he's struggling bearing in mind with what's around him, bearing in mind what else is in this semi. Again, I come back to a point that I've already made. He only needs to beat 6.
Yeah.
He only needs to beat 6. Can you name me 6? Will be the question we need to ask tomorrow.
Well, yes. Indeed. I feel like, I really feel like this is on the edge. I feel like if it qualifies, it's in number 10. And if it misses out, it will be number 11 and only a few points behind.
Like they tend to used to do.
Yeah. Because I feel like there are quite a lot of people who like this. And it's generally the more engaged viewers, if you like, who vote in the semi-final, and it does have a little bit of a wave behind it. Maybe not a great big, you know, tsunami wave, but there is something in there. People are finding it appealing.
Is it enough? That's the $1 million question.
That is the $1 million question. It could be in a semi-final of 16. It wouldn't be in a semi-final of 19. Definitely. I
agree. If he was in the other semi, he'd be sunk.
I agree with that. Yeah, and that's weird because this is the like bloodbath semi.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think he's going to be. I think he'll just miss out. I suspect.
That's what you're calling just miss out.
Just miss out.
I think I might call that as well, but I don't want to.
Representing Ireland.
I'm gonna let down all the armor, let up the power that I've been hiding, not afraid of the monsters, of the nightmares that I've been fighting. Easy to run, harder to stay, finding colors in the gray. Thought I was done, but I got it wrong. I fell twice, I'm twice as strong. I've been searching all the wrong places.
last one of the day then.
God.
Yes, we have to talk about it even more so than Slovenia. Let's talk about Ireland. Phil.
Dear RTE.
Dear RTE.
This is going to be a long and painful letter. You have 30 minutes.
Oh.
You have 30 minutes to come up and show your homework to Europe. You took 26 of them, blank screens and gnashings of teeth from so-called press and fan media. You then presented what was essentially last year's staging concept for a song about stories.
Yes.
With this year's song about maps and finding myself, which is nothing at all about stories, shoehorned into the same 3 minutes, probably using the same set and effects, and you couldn't get it right.
Yeah. I do feel like they've had a year to work on this.
They had 25 minutes to get it right today. And I've watched it back today. I shouldn't be saying that. I may or may not have watched it back. And Leslie's all over the shop. She really is. She has too many things to think about.
Yeah.
You've got to get out of the way of the moving stage. You've got to poke your head through a cave. You've got to poke your head through what seemed to be a prolapse, but I'm guessing it's not. I'm guessing it's a rose of some description. She's got to walk on a travelator like she's done the Eliminator out of Gladiators, and she's got to, and she will have to fly at the end of it, but not today because they're saving something back. Perhaps I should have said spoiler there. Mind you, it doesn't help when you've got a cummerbund and a bloody size 2 fish hook at the back of your body, does it?
She also has to sing as well.
Yeah, sorry, yes.
There's that whole other element of singing the song, which seemed to have that got completely lost in the utter mayhem of that staging.
I don't think I've seen much in the last 18 years that has shocked me to such a degree.
Yeah.
And not in a good way.
No.
It is the same. You know, when you've got a staging concept, and I get that RTE have said publicly, and I don't know where, but I've heard this, they've said, this is a continuation of Story of My Life.
Yeah.
Well, it's not just a continuation, it's using exactly the same themes, because you're doing it on the cheap.
Yeah. And we thought only Azerbaijan had done that.
Exactly. We know, being British fans, we know what on the cheap looks like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't we? We are quite within our rights to go. You know, you see that blue? There are only 4 mirrors there. That's on the cheap.
Yeah. And do you know the thing that makes me so angry and so disappointed about this is that is a really good song.
It's a really, really good song.
That is a song that is like way better than its staging. I think if you'd given that song to Sweden, we would have said that would be brilliant.
Yeah.
But
the lyrics of the chorus go, my soul is a map, my heart is a compass. Where was that on the stage?
Right, exactly.
There was a tsunami that I haven't mentioned. There were trees that had fell down in a gale force 10 wind.
Yeah.
You know, it's supposed to be a storybook. That's last year.
Right. The only reason it's a continuation is because you didn't restage it.
Correct. Because you couldn't be bothered.
You could exactly. I found this the most disappointing of the day, and I know that they keep saying, you know, oh, don't judge it on this performance. Well, this is all you've given us to judge it on, and right. Let's do the question: is it qualifying?
No.
No. If you'd asked me at 2:30 this afternoon, I would have said yes. Now, having seen the rehearsal, I can't see a place for this in the final.
Good, and she sung it, and they did maps behind it, and they did a compass, and they did hearts, and they did, you know, possibly even walking through trees. I'd give that because because the lyrics of the song, I can see that. Brilliant, you know, going through only has to beat 6. This can't be any of them.
No.
And there's some dire in the next bit, but this is a candidate for stone last by being lazy.
Yeah, and messy. I think that's the overriding word. It's just messy. Even if you transpose Story of My Life over that staging, it's still messy.
There's too much for her to do, and I'm not saying that she's a scatterbrained young girl and she is incapable of doing all these things. There's too much in it. It looks messy. As a friend of ours, Ewan, would say, and has said to me earlier on today, there is no visual storytelling.
No.
The storytelling of the song does not match what the viewer is seeing. There is no connection.
No, she's telling the story of a different song.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what she's doing.
Oh, I'm sad that we're ending this rehearsal rundown on the one that didn't work for us today, but let's end on a positive. I'm going to ask you 3 questions. What was your standout great moment of the day that you saw?
A woman in a boiler suit coming out of a Dalek.
Fantastic. That's a good one. Which was the rehearsal that impressed you the most today?
Probably Lithuania.
Okay, that makes me happy. Just what has made you smile today?
The online press centre.
Yeah, lovely. Good answer.
Good answer.
Good answer. Phil, thank you so much for joining me for this rehearsal rundown.
Always a pleasure.
Join me with another special guest who I will reveal when I know who it's going to be for the second half of semi-final one's rehearsal rundown in the next show. Thanks for joining us.
Hey baby, when you look at me, I know I'm in double trouble tonight.